I didn't want to color the views of people. Wanted to be a bit unbiased, you know. So I took a break during the course of the election, and by doing so, you know, maybe create some level of what should I say, balance, if one can say that, if anything. So I'll start. Mr. Anderson, how are you? Because how is Jamaica there? Don't finish up all the rum and all those things there. Hope you have been and checked my mother over there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome and good afternoon, good evening, all the way from the UK. I took a break. I took a deliberate break from the live, and one of the reasons why I took the break from the live was because I wanted to sort of let the election blow over, you know, and just to make sure that you know, because sometimes when you do live, you know, you're trying to get everybody, but you know, at the same time, you got a seat. If I got a seat, yeah, I got a seat, man. I got a seat right here in my office at home. Right, I got a seat. You know, the election turnout was good, but yeah, I got a seat. I think the most important thing when one talk about having a seat is that you have to somehow ensure that you create your seat if there's no seat. All right, you've got to create your seat if there's no seat. Don't wait for to be elected into a seat. You've somehow got to, and I say this, you've got to create your seat. I hope you agree with that. Just starting in a few minutes. Please share this page as well. I'd be grateful. Just press share as you come along. Just press share and share and share and share. That would be good. Let me see something here. That's it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good afternoon, and all is well. Hope you're well. I'm coming to you all the way from the UK. Someone said to me a while ago, earlier, I made a post about Donald Trump, and they said, it's good that you're there in the UK and you're not here in the USA. And I'll explain why a bit later. But just want to say, welcome, and hope you're well. Welcome to the late one with yourself, Silburn. And, you know, the topic tonight is I just set the stage really, is the UK election is over, but it is heating up in Trump USA. Yeah, UK election is over, but it is heating up with Trump in the USA. You see, I believe, as usual, I always say politics is crucial and politics is important, you know. And I believe it's crucial that we all engage with the process, whether we like it or not. It's very important to engage with the process. But before I go into that, I want to really applaud Miss Jamaica World, or Miss World, Tony Ann Singh. I mean, everybody, I believe, should have seen this lady. Jamaica is a small country in the geographical sphere on the map, but it's a powerful country, as she said, little but with Talawa. And many people have been talking about this recent, win by Miss Jamaica. But what many people have been talking about a lot, it is not just about the win, but it is how Miss Nigeria celebrated for Miss Jamaica. How Miss Nigeria celebrated for Miss Jamaica. And that was a bit which was exciting. Maybe I'll have to do a particular show specifically on your friends and your support. Do they support you really? Do they look out for you? Because when we saw how Miss Nigeria really went out there and just, wow, just shouted out and just got excited for Miss Jamaica. I at one point when I saw it, because I just saw a glimpse of it. I don't really watch these Miss World and Miss Thing, you know what I mean? But when I saw that and I saw the clip, I said, why is she jumping? Was it a Steve Harvey moment whereby somebody made a mistake or what? But I realized she actually jumped up and really excited for Miss Jamaica, that I had to go ahead and do a post. And the post was that, do you have a Miss Nigeria in your corner? And are you a Miss Nigeria? Symbolically, figuratively speaking, for those who did not understand, they were wondering why. But it is the way how she supports. So the question is, do you have a Miss Nigeria or in your corner, or are you a Miss Nigeria? Because sometimes in order to get some support, sometimes you got to show yourself giving support as well. So I just wanted to say that, and it was great. Miss Universe, I believe she didn't come in at all because they said she used Miss Annie Palmer, the White Witch of Rosal. For those in Jamaica, that is something, the relic of the past, the relic of slavery. So they said she was voodooed or she was Obi out of it. so some people say. A guy named Dwight Ross, they call her Miss Goody, something like that, Miss Nigeria. So Miss Nigeria, I understand, is being invited to Jamaica. So that is good. Another thing also I just wanted to share, and I don't think people know about this, but it is something which I spoke about. You don't need more Christmas if you're the happiest man ever. Come on, Ellen Preza. I'm always happy. Ellen Preza say I'm the happiest man of all. I think he's talking because the conservative one. But no, I'm always happy. And everybody knows me. I always say that whether it was Corbyn, I might get sad for a moment or so. But I'm always happy. You know, there was an election once. It was 1980. I was born 1969. So I was about 10 years of age, 11 years of age or so. It was in Jamaica. And the election was between the PNP and the JLP and Michael Manley and Siaga. I was very young, you know, and my family is from a socialist background, PNP, if anybody knows about that, in Jamaica. And I went to bed early, and the election, you know, of course you want PNP to win, you want Michael Manley to win, but what happened is this: Siaga won. Edward Siaga won the election. And early in the morning, I asked my sister who won. And she said it was Siaga. And I was gutted. But then I think from the early days, I came to a point where I started to accept some realities sometimes. And I started to just sing this song in my heart, you know. It was a JLP song. And it says, Ada Eddie, our leader, our conscious leader. Ada Eddie, our leader, our conscious leader. It wasn't saying I was supporting of Edward Siaga at that time, but it was just simply saying that I was acknowledging that he is the Prime Minister now and wanted to actually work with that. So I think deep down in my heart, I think I'm a person who can accept things and won't get into the tribalistic mentality. But yes, I'm happy. But what I wanted to share also is that there's a Global Jamaica Diaspora Council election which took place recently by the 15th of December. You may have heard about this is something by the Jamaican government in order to see how there can be some sort of synergy or some effective representation in the UK, USA, Canada by Jamaicans overseas. And that election was done recently. There's a registration period, and the election was completed on the 15th of this month. And for the UK, Kevin Brown, Dr. Kevin Brown was elected up north, and Nathaniel Pete, you might have known from Safety Box, was elected. In Canada, there was a lady named Nalia Gordon Desisio, and Canada 2, there was a Yvette Blackburn, and in the USA Northeast, there was a Karen Dunkley, and USA Southern, there was a Dr. Alan Cunningham, and USA wed Miss Midwest. There was a Shauna Chin. Shauna Chin. Is that the lady who was with Gollibop? I don't know. Anyhow, but I don't know. But I don't know. Anyhow, Shauna Chin. So these are the persons who were elected. So anyhow, so election in the air. But anyway, back to the UK now. Election is over, and I'm happy that it's over. More than who won. I'm happy that Boris won, but I'm more happy that it is over. And I tell you why. And everybody who has been following my live for years, and even from the election, you know, in my normal talk show, which is the Silver Show with Red Chair, before the election date for the referendum, all my guests on my show, on the Red Chair, I asked them this question: in or out? In or out? Brexit or not Brexit? And everybody gave their views. You know, I'll never forget one guest said she wants to be in and remain in because she wants to go to Europe and able to travel and able to shop. So that was her reason. Many people have their different reasons. So I was asking the question, in or out? The election came, the referendum came, we got the result. It was out. So therefore, we're going to the process now of actually having the deal. You know, David Cameron resigned, Theresa May came on, the dilly-dallying, going back and forth. We should have left by this particular time. Then Boris Johnson came in, and for 3 years, just going over and over, back and forth, dilly-dallying, you know. And all the time on my show, I've always maintained this position that in order for the UK to move forward, we've got to leave. We've got to leave because 17.4 million people voted to leave, and we have got to leave, right? And I maintain that position very consistently. Not being to the fact that I voted Brexit, but being to the fact that if there's a democratic position and the people voted, then we've got to leave. Okay? So that was being going around in circles. Laws keep passing, frustrating the process to the point where the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, said, that's it. And the Attorney General made this powerful speech when he said this is a dead parliament, whereby it has lost its flavor, it's dead. Because nothing is going to happen. A hung parliament, the Prime Minister lost his majority, he whipped up all these persons, so therefore they were minus, the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson. So he called the election, right? And it's so funny and interesting that the key architect, the persons who were actually frustrated the process and leading on it, they all lost their seat. Dominic Grieve, who was frustrating the process, Prime Minister, good guy, know him very well. He's a mentor of mine. He was one who got me in, nurtured me, and used to go and visit him once a month at the House of Commons, Porculus House. And he lost his seat. He was whipped. You know, he's gone. Anna Soubry, if you remember her, she jumped ship from the Labour Party to the new party, Independent Party. She lost. Chuka Ummah, who was a safe seat in Streatham. Then he went to this new party. Then he went to the Lib Dem, lost his seat. Sam Gimmer, also a progressive young guy, black guy, had a safe seat, was a junior minister, jumped ship as well, lost his seat, right? The Jo Swinson, who was the leader of the Lib Dem, who said she wanted to be Prime Minister, she lost her seat, and she's no more the leader. She's gone out into the deep, okay? The Prime Minister, on the mandate and the whole essence was, let's get Brexit done. And it went through, and he won, okay? 80. And what people are saying now is that save for, if it wasn't for the Brexit Party, there could be 20 more seats that the Conservative possibly could have won, okay? 20 more seats. Okay, so therefore that's the situation there, and the good thing about it is that I believe now, and this is it, is about 65, if that's it, 65 black and minority ethnic persons in Westminster. Operation Black Vote made a statement that when they started their mission, there were 4 black and minority MPs in Parliament. Now there are 65, and there's also this new lady which came on recently from Thamesmead. She is Abena Opong Asare. Okay? So it is interesting days whereby we're seeing new faces. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the late one. I'm Silburn, and thank you for coming on. And I'd appreciate if you just share this video as well. I'd love to hear your comments. I believe when I actually come on like this and want to have a discussion, I'm open to discussion. But sometimes I don't have the time sometimes to go around in circles on Facebook, because sometimes you got to use Facebook. Don't let Facebook use you. You got to decide when is the right time and when you really have time to do that. And sometimes I just say now at times I don't have the time to have a discussion, and whatever my choices are, it's my choice. Ellen Prezzo, before elections you're fuming inside. However, you're civil, not a procurator. Before elections you're fuming. Was I fuming? But was I fuming? Ellen Prezzo, I was fuming. I think what made me fume sometime is when I believe that when people are actually saying that why do you vote conservative, or why should a black person vote conservative? I think that's something which annoys me a lot. It does annoy me a lot, because people believe that just because you're black that you've got to vote Labour. Just because you're black you've got to vote Democrats. You know? And that preconceived notion has got to be shut down. You know? And this is not saying that parties, Republican, Democrats, Conservative, Labour are perfect. No, perish your thought. None is perfect. But what is very important is that individuals, and hey Mike, how are you doing? Individuals have a right as to who and which party that they choose to vote for. Choosing to vote for a party doesn't mean to say you love the leader. Doesn't mean to say you like everything of the leader. Maybe you like the policies. It could be the policies. Think about that for a second. It could be the policies. Many people like different policies. And that could be what makes a fundamental difference. Is it the policies you like why you vote for a party? Right? And I find this very interesting also, because I was on the doorstep knocking, not just election, but previous elections. And even at one time, had my children out there knocking on doors, putting leaflets in. And I always find it very interesting when you find a black voter or a conservative person. Well, a person coming to the door, and you assume that they're going to be saying that how can you, a black man, vote conservative? And you be shocked when they actually say, I'm conservative. And they start to explain why they're conservative. It is not that they're in love with the party. It's not that they're in love with the leader. It's not that they're part of the membership like I am, or an activist. But they have fundamental conservative leanings, and they do not like socialist leaning. So people have their choices. People have their choice as to who they want to vote for. So I always say that black people should not feel like they have got to be whipped. And when I say whipped, it is not about the physical whipping. It is just using the same principle that they do in Parliament. If you recall, when the Prime Minister whipped someone, got 3-line whip, whatever, whereby you've got to vote a particular way. Right? That is why, and when they say the whip was removed from some members of Parliament, like Dominic Grieve and a bunch of them, Sam Gimmer, that was because they defied the party line on something which is fundamental and crucial. So they removed the whip, meaning to say they are no more a member of the Conservative Party, and they now become independent. That can happen as well with Labour Party. So what I'm saying, so the whip bit is it now, is it that as a black person, are you whipped whereby you've got to toe a particular line? So my friend and myself, Junior, we understand that there's something which is called the NLP. The NLP, which is called the Nubian Labour Police Force, NLP, whereby you've got to toe in line. So one of the easiest ways how I address this matter now, when persons say, how can you, why do you vote for conservative? Why? How can you? And I said, because it's my choice. It is because it is my decision. And you just can leave it right there. You don't have to go anywhere else. Just leave it right there. It is my choice. It is my decision. You see? You got to remember that, and this is it. When you've got your passport, and when you've got your birth certificate, there are key names which are in these documents. And those key names which are in these documents are what you are a part of. You know? So therefore, someone don't have the right to challenge the choices that you make in life. I was going to say unless they're paying your bill or unless they contributed to your life. But even so, no one has that right. No one has that right. And so therefore, I'm on a quest as well. And one of the things that I do is try to encourage persons to understand who they are. Having their sense of identity. Having their sense of knowing who they are as an individual. And you do not have the time, and you're not obligated to respond just because someone wants you to respond. No, you don't have to. You can just simply say, it is my choice. Whether I support Trump, whether I support Conservative, whether I support Jeremy Corbyn, whether I support Tony Blair, it is an individual choice. Right? Now, you can go on and want to explain and go into A, B, and C, and D, but you also have the choice as to say, it is my choice. Simple as that. And you don't have to have any fears or no qualms about it because it is your life. Okay? Persons now have got to recognize that with the whole sphere of politics and what you have seen now, the whole tactical voting, right? It's so funny, even with this election, many people are talking about, let's create this whole thing with tactical voting. Gina Miller creating this website about tactical voting. The Green Party, they stand down for tactical voting. The Lib Dems said, we will not stand there for tactical voting. And it seems it was tactical voting by the voters who created this landslide. They recognize that they don't like a particular way how the country is going. So they decided, okay, if this is tactical voting, let me do tactical voting. I'll vote Conservative this time to get this Brexit done. So people decided to actually vote accordingly. So and it's interesting how when they say we want a people's vote, and the people's vote came and cleared the house out. The night before the election, when the polls were actually saying it's going to be a hung parliament, people were saying it's going to be close. Ellen Prezzo, you saw me when I wrote that thing saying, I believe deep in my heart that it's going to be a landslide. And people say, oh, you're crazy, man. I said, I know it doesn't make sense. I know it actually doesn't follow the polls. But I said, God, come on. We cannot go back to going around in circles again with a hung parliament. It would be crazy and it would be ridiculous. Right? And by virtue of such, if that happens, I was going to say, this is what I was going to say. I don't care if it is Brexit or no Brexit, whatever. Let's just shut this thing down. We can't keep going around in circles. So I was amazed when the exit polls came. It's similar to what happened with David Cameron when the exit polls came. They were expecting worse, or not that much. But exit polls showed and he got a very good seat, which Theresa May lost. And when I saw what Boris Johnson got, it warmed my heart because I said, yes, not because he won, but because I saw a light now at the end of a tunnel that's saying we can get Brexit done. I know it sounds like a rhetorical and a broken tape record that keeps saying, let's get Brexit done. But that's it. And let's get Brexit done doesn't mean to say it's going to be done by January 31st. But the process is in motion now where the Prime Minister's got this majority where he can move very effectively. And one thing which I wanted to address as well, and I've addressed this at different times. I've addressed it over the years. And that was when it happened when Trump won. When lots of persons were saying that they're going to leave the United States, Whoopi Goldberg and lots of persons, Tom Hanks, all of them, we're going to leave the USA if Trump won, and he won. They're still there. And I'm hearing the same things around because Boris Johnson won, we're going to leave, things are going to get worse, blah, blah, blah. And I said, perish the thought to think like that. Well, you can think like that because I'm the one who's saying you can't tell me how to think or what to do. So yes, you can think like that. But I say perish your thought to think like that. This is me saying that. Because guess what? Hope, right? And belief in yourself is fundamental. I always say this. Don't allow a leader or a prime minister or a party to be the end of all, the be and the end all of your success. And I've been saying this, and I'll be saying this more often. Because at the end of the day, one has got to work. Politicians, government, is not supposed to be this big thing that controls people's lives. It's not be something that gets into every nook and cranny of life and society. It is supposed to set the mechanism, like an oil mechanism, like the spheres of influence, if that's a good way of saying it. A sphere of influence whereby you operate within. We've got to work. We've got to work. We've got to work and have a vision for our life, just like the government have a vision for the nation. But everything falls within. So I'm not surprised that the Prime Minister wanted to ring-fence funds for the NHS and get it enshrined in law. I'm not surprised the Prime Minister is actually saying he's going to give back bursary, I think 6,000 or 8,000 to nurses. Okay, that was done before and it was pulled back and he's giving it back. I'm not surprised. Why? Because of all the different talk about saying that it is for sale. They're going to sell it to Trump and he's going to sell it. I keep saying this all the while again. Don't let Trump be seen as the face of America, because Trump can go tomorrow. Even if he doesn't go next year, but to impeach, he won't be impeached. But I mean, he will be impeached, but he won't go because the Senate will not vote and get him out. I mean, I've been watching the whole thing today, and it's just crazy. But he won't go. But he's going to go at least in the next 4 years. So therefore, one should not see America as Trump. One should not just see Boris Johnson as the UK. Because there are systems in place that ensure that things flow. But you've got to work. I've got to work. We've got to ensure that we've got a vision for our life. And not allowing, and this is what I'm saying, not allowing, what should I say, the system to control one so much whereby one is constrained and one is believing that, oh, my life is done, you know. So what? So what Boris Johnson wants? So what the Conservatives want, right? And I'm not going to get involved in the Labour Party and their rigmarole because, you know, they've got to sort out themselves, right? And everybody knows that I'm conservative, you know. And the question again, I can't believe this guy's conservative. He was how can you, a man from Otrius, Jamaica, and be involved in a racist party? How can you do that? Are you a traitor to the cause? But guess what? Sadiq Khan is the mayor of London. Yeah. Priti Patel is the Home Secretary. Sajid Javid is the Chancellor of the Exchequer. Shinai, forget what his name is. I think he's Secretary to the Treasury or something like that. Key persons from the black and minority ethnic are positioned in strategic position. Pakistani, Asians, Indians, from different facets of society. Same race, but positioned strategically. So I say to black people, and I say to my people, you've got to position yourself strategically. And don't see what is happening now as coming against you, but look as the way how you can get in there and be a part of the solution. So the election is over. The Queen's speech is going to be tomorrow. I'm going to get Brexit done by January the 31st. And that doesn't mean to say it's done, but I mean the process in place so everybody can keep going. And there have been some appointments. I know people are sort of questioning and putting some questions aside about why has Nikki Morgan gone into the House of Lords and keep her job? Why Zach Goldsmith, who lost his seat, has also gone to the Lord in order to keep him there, and yet you have 360 or 380 whatever members of parliament. Some people are saying that's cronyism, but anyway, at the end of the day, that is politics, because guess what? It happens. Just like Lord Mandelson and all those sort of things. But this is an opportune time for persons now to consider joining political parties. This is an opportune time for persons to consider taking the invitation and joining the Labour Party, as they say, to vote the leadership. Invitation to join the Conservative Party as well. James Cleverly, good friend of mine, who is the chairman of the Conservative Party, is inviting persons to be a part of the Conservative Party. I've had a few persons just before the election join the Conservative Party. Black people, young men, young women, joining in droves, right? Positioning ourselves strategically, preparing ourselves in order to have a voice in keeping the government accountable. Because the government, just because it's got the majority now, that doesn't mean to say it's unaccountable. That doesn't mean to say that they can do whatever they want to do. Because the people also, remember what the people have done? The people have loaned their votes, given over their mandate, right? The power of the people has been given to the members of parliament, okay? And the Prime Minister also recognized that many people who voted for him and voted on these seats, which has never been voted before and never been Conservative before, it was loaned to the Conservative, loaned to the Prime Minister in order to deliver Brexit and to sort out the country. Because what it needed is strong leadership. And I believe there's going to be strong leadership in Boris Johnson. But the way how we can play a part, I can play a part within my circles as a member of the Conservative Party with the access that I have. But everybody else have this other access. Whether you voted for an MP or not, and he's your MP, you have the right, being to the fact that you live in a particular constituency, to approach your MP and say to him, I've got concerns about employment, I've got concern about immigration, I've got concern about tax, and you put that pressure on the person, and therefore you actually get them to say it in Parliament. If you remember, when Jeremy Corbyn started, Jeremy Corbyn always says this, and he always brings these letters, and he said, I've got this letter from Mary Jane, and Mary Jane is actually saying that blah, blah, blah. And people used to laugh at him first, but they say, yeah, you may laugh, but Mary Jane is a real person. And she's got these issues whereby she have got no gas, she's got no light because of the universal credit and blah, blah, way. And by that, it gets the ball in motion. So we have that access, not just when an election time comes, to be challenging your MP, challenging the Prime Minister, writing to the Prime Minister, doing radio program, doing like what I'm doing now, right? So just because they got the majority, that doesn't mean to say that's the end and be all, okay? There's more to it. So, yes, I'm happy. Yes, I'm more happy that it is over. I'm more happy that there's now a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not just happy because it's a Conservative win, but more happy that we are seeing things going. The pound went up, but I think it dipped slightly because they said the Prime Minister maybe is putting back no deal on the table. Personally, I hope not. I hope that somehow the deal which is there can be dealt with and maybe can be tweaked a bit, but to go with a deal, not the no deal. That's me personally speaking. But the government will know best what to do, okay? So yeah, so I'd love to hear your views on that. Please, if you're there, please let me hear your views in regards to that, especially about, you know, voting Conservative or Labour, why you should or why you should not, and do you think it's anybody's business, or do you think it is people's business, or do you think that black people should line up and get Nubian Labour police to really say this is how you should, or it's nobody's business, right? Is it nobody's business? Personally speaking, I think it's nobody's business as to who you vote for, who I vote for. It's my choice, right? And you do not have to explain anything. However, if you want to do a teaching moment and you want to do some discussion, I like that. I rather the discussion where someone invite me, but not to challenge me as how dare you, because that's not their right. Okay? Your name is not on your birth certificate or so. Not your mother, not your father, not your sister, not your brother, not your wife, not your children. Okay? That's it there. Now, I just moving across simply, quickly over to the United States of America. And in the United States of America, what you're seeing happening now is the potential impeachment of Donald Trump. I think this was on the cards from the day one that election. They've been wanting to impeach him. Before anything happened, they've been wanting to impeach Donald Trump. So this is no surprise, you know. I've been in the Trump camp for a while, and many people also say, "How dare you?" and blah blah blah. I've lost friends, people unfriend you, people even unfamily me. I've been unfamily. But that's the whole point. You can't really let these things bother you. You've got to be strong. You've got to be rocky. You've got to know who you are. You don't have to love someone to like policies. You don't have to acknowledge or take in the words that they speak. It's policies. Politics, yes, it's about personality, but it's also about policies. Policies is the key thing in politics. Not just about personalities and charisma and who wrong and who right. You know? The other day, I challenged someone who said to me, how can you speak well of Trump in a particular way or support Trump? And I said to the person was saying he lies and he do all those things. I said to the person this, and I know it's controversial. I said to the person this, but I tell you what, if you can actually send me a dossier of all the lies that you have told, of all the bad things that you have done over your life, then I believe that we can have a discussion. Because you're making it look as if that you're perfect. First of all, I'm not in policies. I'm not in politics. I'm not a public figure. I said, well, right now you're a public figure because we're discussing this publicly. Right? So therefore I said, who without sin cast the first stone. No leaders are perfect. No leader is perfect. And that is something that we all need to know. No leader is perfect. Leaders have frailties. I'm not defending anybody now. No leader is perfect. Tell me if you know a perfect leader. Because if that's the case, that's only Jesus Christ, you know what I'm saying? Okay? And he took on all the sins of this world, if anything, to become imperfect again in order to make things better. Okay? So it's interesting watching the debate, and it's a very interesting debate because you can hear passion from persons, lots of persons outside there demonstrating, not here. And when I said I post something and say, well, if it was up to me, I would vote against the 2 articles of impeachment. And one person said, why? And I said, I don't have to answer. I just said that. And that's my choice. And then someone said, well, stay over there with the Queen. And I said, okay, all right. That's their choice. So therefore, what I'm trying to say right now is it's very toxic in America, and I believe America need a Brexit moment. And when I say a Brexit moment, need a breakthrough whereby they can move forward, because I believe America is going around in circles. This is just my view. It's going around in circles because they have not accepted Trump. Some have accepted Trump, so it's a 50-50 thing right down the middle, and because of that, people are not moving forward. They have not accepted the fact that Hillary Clinton lost. And therefore, there's this point whereby everybody's looking away to get Donald Trump down, right? The employment is up, and black people. I understand. This is me saying, understand is in good employment. People are saying, well, that actually started from Barack Obama. Well, let's start from Barack Obama or what? Doesn't care. It's up. Stock market is great. Economy is booming. But the personality is warped. But whose personality is not warped? Now I don't have the facts about this whole thing which happened with Ukraine, and I'm not going to get into that. But when one listens to it objectively, and I'm saying objectively now, objectively, one can look at it and see that it's a witch hunt at the same time, because everyone knows that America from day one, or the Democrats, have always been trying to get at Donald Trump. They do the Russian bits, the different gates, Russian gate, Mount gate, and all those sort of things, trying to get at him, right? And it's like a guy just keep going and just keep going. So it's very interesting to see what will happen in a couple of days. And I believe more than likely the Democrats will, the House will vote for him to be impeached, and then they go have a trial and everything like that. But you know what, guys? I'm going to say this sometime, but who cares, really? We've got to move on. And that's why I believe America needs a Brexit moment. And that Brexit moment whereby you either sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you're going to remain or you're going to exit, or I said Brexit. And it is similar to a situation if one is in financially. It is in a situation if one is in a position whereby they're depressed and oppressed. And one can choose to remain as to where you are. Okay, I might be using the Brexit scenario here. One can choose to remain in the comfort zone. One can choose to remain in the position that you're in where you're wallowing, going around in circles. Or one can Brexit. Figuratively, I'm speaking. Rather, exit from the situation. Exit from the position that one is in. That is crucial. That one has got to exit. Because when you're in the same zone, maybe I should preach now or whatever, motivational. When you're in the same zone, what happens is this. You're within that comfort zone. You're on the shores. You're jumping on the sand. You're not touching the deep. You might just put your feet out there and walk a bit in the water. And you see a little fish running around your feet there. Aren't you asking yourself the question, where's that small fish coming from? Must be. And you see he runs out there. He doesn't go to the shore, the fish. The fish goes out. Where is he going? He's going into the deep. That's where greater things happening. So you can either stay in the safety of the shores on the comfort zone, jumping on the sand, getting splashed up on your belly and splat. Or you can go into the deep. And I've always said this, deep call it unto deep. Scriptural, biblical, at the same time. You go all the way out. And then when you go into the deep, guess what you're going to see? Wow. Look around you. And just picture yourself, if you ever dive before you go into a boat or something like that, and they go all the way into the deep. Even on a ship, when you go out in deep, you say, wow, there's so much more. Opportunity galore. Opportunity galore. And such opportunity, you got new levels. And when you got new levels, you got new devils. And the attitude that one has at this time, the attitude even with the Brexit, attitude even with what is happening in the UK, the attitude will fundamentally determine one's altitude. I consider myself super positive. You know, someone will say, I'm super excited. I don't say super excited. I don't say these sort of words. I'm super excited. But I say I'm super positive. You know, I'm positively positive. Right? And I always say, whatever comes, you see, and I can only speak for myself. I can speak for a couple other persons as well. That when you come from Jamaica, when you come from another nation, another country, you come with an immigrant mentality. And that immigrant mentality is that you sometimes don't have the time to get into civilian matters. Because you're operating like a soldier. You're passing through. You come to take over. And take over is not the sense that you're coming to take over everything. What you're doing, you come with a mission to be successful. Successful at the same time is relative and it's subjective. Right? I can say I'm on the top of my game. But at the same time, I'm, you know, with iBoomerang, or a company which I started, I'm not at the top of the game. Legally, in my sphere of work, yeah, I could be classified as the top of my game. But in another thing, I could be at the lower level of the game. But that is still being successful. So therefore, one has got to determine what is the key ingredient that will make a person move forward and to be successful. It's so funny how I started off with the politics, but reached to this point. And it's always reached to this point because I believe that anything has got to do a lot with the individual. Politics set the framework, politics set the scene, politics and government set a level of momentum. But they cannot move you. You've got to move yourself. Right? You've got to move yourself and go on to the next level. And that's the message. That's the message that's the message which I really want to share tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Right? And I'll be coming on more and more, you know, talking about the same sort of issues here. dealing with the politics at the same time, but at the same time when I'm dealing with the politics, looking at the reality aspect of things. Okay, so I wanted to thank you so much for coming on, and I hope this was empowering, if anything. Remember my tagline: you can vote for whosoever you want, and if there's somebody here, a black person who's a conservative and sometimes afraid to say it because sometimes you get shut down or attacked, come speak to me. I'll give you some tips how to deal with it. But the best way to deal with things, when you believe in something and people are challenging you and you don't really want to talk about it, just simply say, it is my choice and I made it, and I do not have to explain myself to anyone. Okay? And to free you. Because I never forget, a lady said to me one time, she's a good mentor lady, you know. And I said to her, somebody said to me one day, and I said to her, it really dig me and it really annoyed me so much. And I said it like it went in deep. And she never had a go at the person, right? She had a go at me. She said this: I blame you, Silburn. I blame you. How come you allow that person to get so close and so deep? I blame you, Silburn. Right? So therefore, you've got to guard the entrance of things into your spirit. You've got to guard the entrance of things into your eyes. You've got to guard the entrance of things to your ears. Right? You've got to guard what you engage with. You don't have to. And finally, as I say all the while, Facebook is a tool. Just because you're on Facebook and somebody wants to engage you right away, you don't have to. You choose when to. Use the tools that we have. Government is a tool. Social media is a tool. Don't let it consume you and take control of you. Okay? So, thank you again, guys, and have a wonderful evening. And well, I'm back on the track jack now. Election is over, so I'll be doing more live now at a nightly time of 10 o'clock. I'll be looking forward to interviewing a couple of the persons from the global diaspora. As I mentioned earlier, congratulations to them who actually won recently. And the persons for the UK, as I said, is Kevin Brown from the UK North and Nathaniel Pete. So I'll be doing some interviews with them to ask what they're doing. And I'm also maybe tapping to some of the guys in the States as well, as to the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council. And also congratulations again to Tony and Singh, who won Miss World. Congratulations also to the Miss Universe as well, Jamaica Miss Universe. She didn't win Miss Universe. And congratulations as well to Miss Nigeria. And ladies and gentlemen, try and be a Miss Nigeria, someone who will support others. Yeah, be a Nigeria for others. And also, by virtue of such, you'll be surprised, you'll find other Miss Nigerias around you to support you. Let us support each other at this time and big up each other. There's always something in somebody that you can find. I always say there's a common element, there's a denominator, whereby you'll be surprised how you can support someone and anyone. Okay? So thank you very much, and have a good evening. Thank you for joining. Pastor Era William, Norbert Teddy, Ryan Joseph, Danet Gale, Sir Mike Ricketts. Thank you. Great advice. Everton Grant, Miranda, Missy, Joyce, Mike Ricketts, Sean. Hey, Sean. And all the persons. Remember to like, share, and do not dislike this video. And I think I might put it up on YouTube and for Instagram land as well. Thank you for coming on. And peace out. Cheers.